Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to be here. And I have to say, my heart is full because as I stand here, we have such a vibrant community. I heard the speeches this morning of our four candidates, and three words came to mind. One is community. We are a community. We care about each other. We take care of each other. And CMA is at the core of that. The second is partnership. I heard from them. And how we are all partners, whether we're managing directors, whether we're national board members, whether we're national staff, whether we're corporate partners. All of us work together for the betterment of our members. And that is so key in the vibrancy of CMAA. And then lastly, the word I heard was evolution and how we need to keep moving CMAA forward to make sure that we continue to be the best we can be for all of you as members. So as I stand here today for my State of the Association, or this interim State of the Association, my heart is full because those three things are core to CMAA. This State of the Association is a little bit different because we get into making the sausage and you hear all the committee reports versus conference where you just hear me speak and I get to take all that making the sausage and put it in my speech. So you're going to hear a little bit of redundancy, but I think it's important to understand how we got there. We also are recording this so we can share with the full members. So indulge me as I repeat and maybe add to some of the comments that the National Board shared. But let's first start with membership, because that is what we're all about as an organization. Our numbers are strong. As you can see, 7,805 members in 2023, which is a high watermark. 655 new professional members, 445 students. We're doing very well and we continue to do well. I thought it was interesting. I asked Kim Pasquale to always give me some membership numbers, so I never know what I'm going to get, but I think some of these are really cool. 5,700 total years of membership from a longevity standpoint. CMA Connect is a somewhat new in the last 5 years member benefit that really took over during COVID when we had lots of questions and lots of things to share with each other. It is our online community where we can ask each other questions and help and support each other. There are now, after 4 years of using this, now 4,000 conversations out there that you can search on a topic that may be of interest to you. It was mentioned the Capital Improvements Handbook. We've had 545 downloads of that, 1,308 downloads of the Private Club Governance Handbook that we worked with NCA. And Joe is here somewhere, Traeger over in the corner. We appreciate the partnership with NCA. Lastly, 20 webinars. So from a membership standpoint, we are very healthy as an organization. From a financial standpoint, I'm pleased to say that during my tenure, which is 10 years, I will be here 10 years actually in a couple of weeks. And we continue financially. Since the day I walked in, we've made sure we've put a net excess or a profit, if you're from a for-profit type of environment, to the bottom line. And we continue to do that. This year is even better than it has been, thanks to an exceptional lots of things, but one of the things was conference in Las Vegas. I know that many of you would probably prefer that we go to Vegas every single year. I say that in jest because I think there was a lot of concern about going to Vegas. But I can tell you that if we weren't in Vegas, we would have been in trouble. And the reason we would have been in trouble is we book these conferences years and years in advance. And so we have to guess at how many hotel rooms we need. Vegas is a city of hotels. And fortunately, we needed an extra 1,000 room nights to serve all of you. And Vegas eats that like candy. They just love that kind of stuff. So had we not been in Vegas, we would have been challenged. It was the largest conference ever. While I don't think we'll go back to Vegas, probably it was 25 years, it might be sooner than that, but I think 15 years maybe is a good time. But that has helped with our profitability. What have we been doing with all this excess over the last 10 years? Number one, 10 years ago, we were deep in the red, where we were underwater from a balance sheet standpoint. We are now above water, and we continue to get above water to have the required reserves as an association that we should need, which is several $1 million. We've put money aside and now have the full amount of money that we need to pay off our mortgage, which will hit in a little bit less than 10 years when the opportunity comes on our note where we can pay it off. So that is banked, and we've been banking money and now even more money for our centennial. So we will have $350,000 to use for centennial activities that's outside of our normal operating budget. So we want to make sure we do a great job with the centennial. So the board has set some money aside. So financially, we are in good shape. Our partners, it was thanks to Joe, all those partners were recognized. I appreciate all those partners. We had 6 renewals this year, which is awesome. I just signed a renewal for GGA, so I'll call out GGA and say thank you. We appreciate your partnership. We have 3 folks from GGA here, and what they give us from the standpoint of not only research, many of you just received in the past week, the perspective survey and how valuable that type of information is. Dr. Eric Bray is going to be here tomorrow, or is here, but will speak tomorrow. And so that education is also critical, as well as what they do in BMIs and at conference doing strategic planning. There's just a lot there. So I love all the partners, but I'll call out GGA because they're top of mind because I just signed the agreement. So thank you, GGA. We've done a lot of events over the past few months. Obviously, conference was big in Vegas, but we've also done a communication summit, a club wellness summit, a membership marketing summit, and a capital improvement symposium. We continue to do these smaller events, more focused on a specific topic or a specific constituency within the professionals of your club, within the club professionals for your club, in order to help them grow. And so these will evolve, and you'll see in a minute I'll talk about communities, but these types of events are very well received. I call them boutique events because it's not about having hundreds of people there. It's about the content and having 50 to 75 people there and doing a great job with them. I want to talk a minute about how we make the sausage, because this is really our areas of focus for this past year. It's this time of year when we're getting ready for the next year that we start working and looking at our strategic plan and pulling and during July when we have our summer board meeting, talking about things that are rising to the top that we want to focus on. So we develop a list of goals for the year, about a dozen of them, and those goals then become our focus areas. And it becomes part of the work of our committees and our volunteers as we continue to work through those for the year. So I'm going to look back and talk about these, and you're going to say, hey, I just heard about that from the committee. Well, that's all by design, because it's not that, again, I go back to this word partnership. Our 30 team members can't do all of this. We need all the help of all of you to move the organization forward, because in essence, it's our association, you all as members, partnering with us as staff. So let's talk about these focus areas, and there's a couple that are new that you haven't heard yet from the committee reports that I'll share. Strategic plans. We had 2 new strategic plans come out this year, both on CMA, the association, and CF. Our CMA plan, which was released at conference, really focuses on 6 areas: the club professional, workplace evolution, the career, CMA chapters, governance, and the organization. And if you look at it online, you can see all the parts of it. But all of our work plan for the year and for the next few years will dovetail back into that strategic plan. HR Symposium was one of our goals for this year, was to start focusing on HR professionals or people and culture professionals within clubs. There was an HR event that Club Benchmarking had picked up from a prior entity, and so now it is part of the CMA family. And it was in Washington, D.C., and the attendance was huge, and it was like 100 and some people, I believe, and was very well received. So we will continue to do that in the coming years. CCM update was mentioned by professional development. We will have 5 chapters is the goal, to have 5 chapters done by conference. The good thing is with all of this is while this took us a while, as was mentioned, because of the legality of who owned the book, we will now get into a process where this book will be continually updated. So the book and the test will never be out of date again. It will always be updated once we get to that point of, over the next couple of years, of updating the current content. We'll go back and look and say, what do we need to do? So that is very good. It was mentioned about the CCE review. So this is one of our goals, is to now rip apart the CCE program and say, what do we need to change within that? And so appreciate Joe taking on the lead of that, and more to come on that over the next year. Mid-level club management task force. Casey spoke about this. I appreciate Casey's leadership, wherever Casey's hiding. Oh, right there, right in front of me. And how these are the future of our profession. These are the future general managers. We need to take care of these people. We need to understand these folks. We need to help mentor them and bring them along. And under Casey's leadership and those involved, thank you very much. I have a highlight there, the Mid-Management Power Hour, which has been very well received, and good stuff is happening there. Students are always a focus, has been an increased focus over the past few years. The Verified Internship Program, which Casey also mentions, is going very well. If you didn't see in the magazine, there's some pages of it. We give sashes to our graduating students so they can be loud and proud about CMAA. One of the deficient areas in our engagement with universities is our faculty. Our faculty is changing to where many of our faculty are teaching hospitality program or hospitality without any real understanding or work experience in hospitality. It is concerning. And that is concerning for any parts of hospitality, whether you be a hotel, a restaurant, or clubs. We used to have a faculty internship program that really brought those faculty to national, but we sunset that because we really found that it wasn't doing what it should be doing. So we've been working over the past year with some faculty, and we have a draft of what we're calling a faculty development and immersion program. It will be funded through the foundation, and the foundation board talked about it yesterday and gave thumbs up to it. The board is going to talk about it tomorrow a little bit, and we'll hopefully give thumbs up towards it. But what it is a program, and again, this will be released probably at conference, and you will see more of it. But it's a program where the faculty commits to being connected with club managers in their local community, going through and learning about clubs, learning about CMAA, going to student conference, going to World Conference, and other components of that. So it truly is an immersion program that the faculty are very excited about. The senior faculty that have looked at it have said, this is great. I wish it was around when we started, but this should help jumpstart those new faculty coming in and help give them not only some better understanding of clubs, but give them connections to the chapter, to local managers. And this is something that we really are going to need the chapters in those areas to help us, because we're hoping that the chapters will invite them into programs as well, the faculty. So I'm excited about this. It is a missing piece of how we engage our universities, and I'm hoping that it will, through this, it will help to grow student involvement. CMA communities, we currently have 3. Over the past year, we've put in a governance or an advisory group for each of them. We now have structure to each of them. There are 3 communities. I can say that the HR or people in culture community is coming next. They have their own online chat area. I have had conversations with members who have been confused about this. And so my last vlog out to the members talked about this, but I'll talk briefly about this again, just so you all can help carry that word. As members of CMA, you are able to opt into any of these communities for free. If any of your team wants to individually join this community, any of these communities, it's $150 per community. So for instance, your wellness folks may not be CMA members. That's okay. But if they want to belong to the CMA wellness community to talk about club wellness and fitness, they can do that. So you can consider it CMA Lite. It is a way to subscribe to these communities and a way for us to create a association-like atmosphere for some of these key areas within your club. And our goal is to continue to grow these as it makes sense. Again, with HR, people and culture next. DEI, mental health, work-life synergy are all key focus areas that weave into everything we do, and we think about it a lot in how we can help with any of these elements. One of the things that the staff did, and then we offered it to all the chapter leaders and board, was doing a thing called mental health first aid that helped all of us learn to be comfortable with folks with some sort of mental health crisis and how to get them help. It is a national program, and it's something that I have to say I didn't realize from a generation standpoint, as we move to each generation younger, the amount of mental health challenges increase. And we need to be able to support those folks. The club demographic assessment is now in its 3rd year and has given us some good information on where we as an industry can continue to grow from a DEI standpoint. Many people are looking at their job descriptions and making sure that they are open to everybody, making sure that you're posting jobs everywhere. We have this board amendment, or this bylaws amendment, to make chairman chair, because we don't want to have this gender focus. So all of these are part of our focus to make sure as an organization we are open and welcoming to everybody. I'd be remiss to say that our building is something just like your physical assets that you have to stay on top of. Our building was, I won't say let go, but our building, when we were struggling financially, was not as much of a priority, and we didn't have the resources to put into it as we did now than we did a decade ago. So we continue to focus on improving our building and going through maintenance that after 30 years needs to be done. For instance, we thought we were going to replace the elevator this year. It will probably be next year. We've gone through, excuse me, and replaced all our bathrooms and upgraded all our bathrooms this year, and we will continue to go through that process so we keep our building good for all our staff. That also includes our online systems. We were very fortunate during COVID that we could just pick up and go home and work from home thanks to Chris Valo and the work that he did. Our phones, our technology. Chris here, inside in the corner. Chris is hiding in the corner. That's typical Chris. But we were thankful that all the work that he had done to make us omnipresent wherever we are. And so we need to continue to do that. And one of the things we did this year that many of you may also be doing is move to SharePoint so that all our file systems are accessible wherever we are. The Centennial Task Force talked about, Randy gave that report, talked about what they're doing. I think the key thing is starting at LLC next year, we will start to see more and more centennial type of activities. But I think we're all excited about this. It is a great time for us to not only look back and share and see all the great things that have happened over the 100 years, but also talk about the future and highlight the value of CMA, not only to our membership, but outside our membership to our boards and members of clubs, etc. So it is an exciting point in time. These were also mentioned. Jack mentioned the Finance and Ops report, the Capital Improvements Handbook. We appreciate the partners and volunteers that help make these come together, as well as the private club governance with NCA. And you're going to hear more about the Economic Impact Report right after lunch. That was a combined effort of NCA, CMA, and club benchmarking. Richard mentioned the member experience exercise, and this has been something that I was pretty excited about because you all are hospitality professionals. We are, as CMA team, are not hospitality professionals. We are association professionals. So we asked all the committees to look through your eyes, as Richard said, from the Strategic Planning Committee, to say, what can we be doing to improve the experience? The number one item I will share with you was come up with lunch options during conference at Expo. And that happened to be probably 4 or 5 times, so every committee brought that up. But there were a lot of other great ideas as well. And so we are implementing them, and all of that is just going to make us better as an organization and better in service to you. So thank you all for your participation in that. The year isn't over yet, and we have a lot of things still on the plate. Chef Summit coming up next week. Later on in the month, the Mid-Management Conference. We have a Governance and Leadership Symposium that we do at Copland and Keebler coming up in November, combining that also with the Student Conference in November. And I'd be remiss in not saying in October, we have BMI International, which is fully subscribed in Switzerland. And thanks to Jason Koenigsfeld and his team of international folks that have helped put this together. It's going to be an awesome event. And it helps, we do this to help carry that CMA and CCM brand out into the world, and it comes back and pays us dividends because we are now at about 15% of our attendees at conference are from outside the US. So it is, you could say, a mission trip, but it really serves a strategic purpose, as well as it's a heck of a lot of fun if you've never gone on it. So one of the big reveals that I get to do every year is to reveal our membership theme. This is the same membership theme as it was last year. So there's no reveal, but it was such a great membership theme that we are going to continue it on for year 2. So there truly is no place like CMA, as we all know. So this could be the theme for decades, who knows? But for now, it's a theme for 2 years. So that is my report. Thank you very much. And I think we're going to call Mr. Mendez back up to the stage.